So what interests me, I think, a lot about education these days is the question of purpose, whether that's moral purpose or whether it's a more general nature of purpose, and particularly the role of students in that purpose. I think we assume that we know, and that students assume that they know why they go to school. And the purpose of being at school is often in terms of the future. You know, the purpose is that we will get a good job one day. But increasingly, I think as we see unemployment rises, as we see societies becoming more segmented, with young people from intergenerational unemployment and things like that happening, that numbers of young people are basically saying to us that we're lying about that sense of purpose. If we're talking solely in terms of that futurism, that deferred outcomes of education, then we are lying, they're wise about that. And so I think that we need to re-establish a sense of purpose. You know, and I think we see that in many ways. I was struck by the fact that an old girlfriend of mine once said to me, this relationship has got no future, and if it's got no future, it's got no present. And then we split up. And so I think that, that's what's happening in schools a lot. If we talk only in terms of future relationships and future outcomes of relationships, then the kids are splitting up from that. And they're splitting up in some ways by walking out of schools and becoming disobedient and all the rest of those sorts of things, but that's the minority of students. But what worries me more is that large numbers of students in schools sit there disengaged from schools. If they're allowed to text, they're texting. If they're not allowed to text, they're looking at their watches, saying, how long is this class going on for? And what we've got to do, I think, is to re-establish with them a sense of purpose that makes sense to them about why they're at school, why we're having school, about roles that they have. Because this is also at precisely the time in their lives for these young people, and that's getting younger and younger, by the way, down into elementary schools, primary schools, where those young people are asking questions about who am I? What's my place in the world? What can I do now? What's the purpose of life? These bigger moral questions about what's good and bad, those sorts of things. And if we talk only in terms of abstract knowledge that you'll use this because it will help you at some stage in the future, then we're not actually helping them to answer those big questions about themselves.